We are live with another edition of All In on Becton Sports, hosted by Sean Healy. Sean is joined tonight by freshman quarterback Eli Davis. Welcome, Sean.
Thank you. Happy to be back for another episode of All In on Becton Sports. I am joined tonight by Eli Davis, who has stepped in as the varsity quarterback for the past few games. He has also appeared with me on air in a previous Becton show. Welcome, Eli.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Eli, as I mentioned, you have stepped in as the starting quarterback since John Palsy broke his collarbone. When the season started, did you ever in your wildest dreams think you would be the starting varsity quarterback this season?
Definitely not. I was really just, looking up to John because, he was a junior and he was stepping into kind of almost a leadership role for me. And kind of really just thought that, I would just learn from him and kind of develop. And so when he did, move on, I would kind of take that role. I just really never really thought I would, be starting this year. It's just super surreal.
Of course, opportunities come soon sometimes.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind when Coach Mark called upon you in that game against St. Mary's?
I was a little bit nervous, first time ever stepping onto varsity field and wasn't planned. So, it was a little bit scary, but, I really just stuck to what we had been training, really just what we've been working in the game. Coach Mar, dimmed the playbook down, so it was easier for me to learn. And then after the first drive, I kind of, settled in.
Yeah. In addition to the St. Mary's game, you now have 2 full games under your belt. How much more comfortable do you feel at the quarterback position?
I feel a lot more comfortable. It's still that almost scary feeling when you first step out into the first drive, but you get used to it. It's almost like, okay, well now it's not I'm a freshman anymore. It's almost like, okay, now you're here. You got to step up, and just got to step up.
Of course, I definitely see what you're saying. You have to step into that leadership role for your team because quarterback's always the leader on the field.
Exactly.
What would you say is the biggest difference between playing quarterback at the JV and varsity levels?
So definitely a higher paced game. That's somewhat I'm getting face safe for sure. When I was playing JV, the juniors, they come at you and they kind of give you that high space speed, but it's still, some freshmen, some sophomores in there that are still, fully kind of learning and still developing as players. And then, when you go to that varsity, they're much more kind of skilled, I guess, much more faster, stronger. And so when they come at you, it's wow, it's, you just gotta, keep the pace up moving. And then you can't pick your head down, and you can't, you gotta stay focused. And you take your eyes off of someone for 1 second, the next second they're right there. And so,
of course, I think that your transition from JV to varsity in such a short period of time has been very impressive.
Thank you.
Of course. Let's talk about our last game against Jefferson. We found ourselves down 15-14 and we have possession of the ball. Can you describe that last drive that set us up for the game-winning field goal?
That was amazing. When coach, I knew we were gonna pass. So when coach called those, pass plays, I just focused. We had been practicing it for a while, so I really knew what to do. Who to read and stuff. And so I just made the throws, and then I just trusted my receivers. Be there, be in that spot, be in that position, and I just let them go to work.
Shout out Dave for making that kick.
Shout out Dave.
Now let's look ahead to Glen Rock. This is a rematch from September 29th where they beat us 16-6. What needs to happen in order for us to have a different outcome this game?
Well, I think what needs to happen is we just got to, stay focused and stay in our position and just keep doing what the coaches tell us. I feel like a lot of reasons why, we make mistakes or we don't get the things going the way that we want to is because we're not always following what the coach is saying, and that's sometimes our fault, sometimes it goes hand in hand. But really, if we just stick to what the coaches are saying and we just do our jobs, I feel like we really could have a chance and win.
I think we could definitely turn some heads tomorrow, and we can definitely come for that win.
Yep.
Can you tell us how both your teammates and your coaches have helped your transition into the role of starting quarterback?
Yeah. So the coaches, they really just helped me settle down by telling us that, telling me that, whatever you do out here, it's really just, like, don't worry about it. It's kind of like take it at your own pace and remember that you're not John Palsy. That's what a lot of the coaches are telling me. Play your own game of football, and that's really helped me. The players, they just been telling me, they've been really kind of like reassuring me on like my past plays. I'm doing a good job, and that kind of like really helps me settle down and get in. And then like if I make a bad play, they'll be like, it's all right, pick your head up, and it just really helps me, like stay focused and be like, I got this. Let's get into it.
Of course, I think to go along with what you were saying, I think it's definitely important that you're being your own player instead of trying to step into someone else's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, before we move on, I have a comment I wanted to throw up. It's a question directed at Eli. Eli, Kurt Valenti, my counterpart at All In on High School Sports, is asking, how comfortable were you commanding a varsity huddle? Any issues with play calls?
Yeah. So for me, it's kind of different because in JV we would kind of like say like the words differently. We would call it like twice. Varsity call it once. Everyone understands. Basically, there's like no questions asked. It's kind of a much quicker process in the huddle. With play calls, I mean, other than I'd say probably like St. Mary's game with like getting used to the new plays and like the play calling in there. There hasn't really been any more issues with the play calling. Everything's been going smooth and well.
Great, that's great to hear. Before I let you go, Eli, I have a rapid fire round of questions for you. First, favorite pregame music.
Oh, favorite pregame music is probably Ice Spice. Definitely Ice Spice. That's a
Any
bang.
any specific songs?
Munch. I like Munch. That's a good one.
Yeah. Favorite pregame or just favorite food in general.
I like penne vodka pasta, which is so thankful that we have it before like every game basically.
Mm,
It makes it so much easier that I'm eating like my favorite food. It's amazing.
of course. And lastly, favorite TV series.
Ooh, that one I'm probably gonna have to go Stranger Things. Hoping new season's good. But yeah, Stranger Things. I just love Stranger Things. It's such a great series.
I hope that new season's good.
I hope so too.
Sean and Eli, we have Coach Longo checking in. He's saying, two awesome young men right here. Proud of you both. Thanks for all you've done this season. Let's go get one more tomorrow. Thanks for checking in, Coach Longo. And excuse me, Kurt Valenti checking in with another question. So let's get this one up here. It is, if someone hasn't seen you play, what NFL quarterback do you resemble?
Ooh, that's a good one. I haven't really thought about this, but I'd probably say someone like that's tough. Probably someone like maybe Zach Wilson. I mean, I know he hasn't had like the best start to the season, but he's still an NFL quarterback. But he has a good pocket presence. He stays up in the pocket, and then when he needs to make those runs, he's not afraid to do it. So I feel like that's a quarterback that I really resemble the most.
I would say someone else in that category would be like a Taylor Heineke with that underrated ability to run.
Yeah, I get that.
Definitely. Well, Eli, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time, and have a great rest of your night.
You too.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you again soon for another episode of All In on Becton Sports.